What's the
I don't know, we got arts and stuff.
Yeah, it's because people love us so much.
No, we're still.
Now we went back.
Yeah, he's trying
Talk, you guys.
I'm talking to
Hi.
you. There we go.
Hey everybody, sorry for the technical
All right, thank you.
difficulties. This is Kat, and we are live on 2218's Attitude for Gratitude. You know, I'm hanging out with my best friend,
Timmy J.
Hey Tim.
Yeah, talk to
Cut
me,
the
Lewis.
promo.
All right, here at 2218, where you're listening to us from, they're the ones that are helping us keep this podcast going. They're housing us to have this podcast. So with that said, if you're able to donate, 2218 definitely could use donations. And Elena, our faithful producer tonight, is going to be putting up the link. So if you guys would like to go to it, please do and give if you're able to. Thank you, Chad.
So you know, as always, this is also a live show, so if an interactive show, and if you're not in the comments, then we're not live. So you got to be in the comments asking questions, and as we've seen before, that this comment section can be powerful and help. So keep doing that. And I'm just going to cover a couple events quick. 2218 is the third annual Ride for Recovery on June 26th. If you need any information, feel free to contact the Alamo Club or myself at Tad Ackerman or Tim
at Timothy J. Warren on Facebook. Just real quick to add to what Tad's saying is, if, like I said, we're having some technical stuff going on tonight, so it sounds like we are a mile away, which I'm getting that from my phone when I'm trying to listen from afar, but we'll get it figured out throughout the show, so bear with us, folks.
All right, cool beans. And then also in July, we're going to have a rap battle.
Oh!
It's going to be pretty cool. We heard that there's going to be some live music too, like some performances. There's this hot new artist named Little Sober that's going to be on there.
Oh,
It's going to be great. We have some great guests tonight. Tonight we have MJ, say hi.
Hi there.
And we have Amber.
Hey guys.
So, Tim, do you got anything else we got to cover before we get into it?
you know what? Like he was saying, it's interactive. I just want to thank everybody for the patience you're having with us and sticking around. I just want to say thank you. That's the main thing before we even get going.
Why does it sound like that?
It just, you know what? I know for a fact right now it sounds like we're a mile away to our audience. Like only one mic, maybe their mic only is picking us up or something.
Really?
I've already gotten a couple messages, and when I try to listen to my phone. So we're trying to get it figured out. Bear with us. But do you guys hear what I'm talking about over there?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know what we do.
Is there troubleshooting?
I don't know.
Cassidy back up here.
I think maybe we holler for the cast master. I don't know. I'm stuck. Oh my gosh.
Are you guys gonna go?
Just roll with it like life.
What?
Just roll with it like life.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's chop it up.
Chop it up. What the hell? Let's do it, guys and gals. It'll work out. Chop.
All right. They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
What's up, guys?
Chop
Gonna
it.
roll the way it's gonna roll, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't figure it. Ember's here. Things go crazy.
What is that supposed to mean, Tad?
So just so you know,
Come on, now.
Amber's one of my best friends, so I'll probably give her extra hard time because I suck like that.
And
That's right, I'll do it right
MJ,
back.
and you know what? I want to let the audience know MJ is one of our previous guests' wife.
She was volunteered to do this show live on air.
Yeah, that's right.
That was Bob.
Yes, I wasn't
Your
gonna
husband
David
volunteered to do
That
the
was
show.
me, Bob.
Yes.
We were on air, and your
Hi, Bob.
husband was like, "My wife will be on the show this month.
Yes.
I'll talk to her, but she'll do it."
Well, this is the last Friday of National Women's Month, and we just wanted to make sure that we're able to represent women on the show this month. And I know we did have Rick and Jesse on, but it was such a kind of a fluke that they ended up being on this month. But we definitely wanted to make sure we ended up a month with some powerful women in recovery, and that's why you guys are here. Bottom line, that's why the two of you are sitting where you're sitting tonight,
I am honored to be here. Thank you so much.
as we are.
I am as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
You. So,
Yeah.
let's chop this stuff up. What do we want to get going into?
Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, when MJ and I were kind of talking earlier in the week, we're like, what should we do for a topic? And she popped off tools in your toolbox. And I was like, perfect, because I kind of want to touch base on staying on top of your mental health while you're in recovery. I feel like that is a piece that is sometimes, as much as we recover out loud or I recover out loud, both in my sobriety, I also push that mental health piece because it's important. And there are people who suffer just as much with that as they do with addiction.
Right.
And it kind of goes hand in hand with the tools in your toolbox.
Yeah, it has to.
So.
I mean, these things that we've been taught throughout our recovery, it's like what I've personally seen throughout my recovery. It's like a lot of these situations I run into, the hurdles or what have you, is if I don't pause and think, I have to remind myself when I run into some of these issues in life now to remember to use these tools out of the toolbox. Like, I get stuck and end up after the fact, all of a sudden I find myself talking about like, oh shoot, if I'd have just remembered half the things I've already been taught. So it's
Right.
like those tools you talk about are monumental in recovery. Just got to remember to use them.
One of the things too is like, so that's what I worked on in my first year of recovery, and sponsors, treatment counselors, all that stuff. They were like, no, we're working on your tools and this and that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to use this shit now. And but just because you don't use it now doesn't mean you're going to not use it later.
Right.
And and that's why so I dissociate. That's what I do. So I had to work on grounding is what it's called, just different things. And if you do, and they were like, you need to practice this all the time.
Grounding, is that what I was talking about? Like you got to remember to just
Well, there's lots of different grounding. Like this could be a grounding technique. I'm twiddling a rock. I'm doing, there's lots of different grounding. We could talk about grounding for the whole show. We're not going to, but.
MJ, you're nodding your head. What's your experience with what he's talking about?
Well, I'm just understanding what he's talking
Okay.
So, and the point is to keep me here in the moment so that, because when I dissociate, essentially what I do is I look at you and I nod and say yes, but I'm actually like playing football in my head or in a safe place.
Right, like I find myself doing on my phone.
Like that's
All the
how I got
time.
through my life, and except for when, and then so grounding is just to keep you in the moment and keep you calm. And
Where?
But you have to practice this stuff just like the tools in recovery. So
Right.
in the beginning, I thought it was a bunch of bullshit, but as I found out now, it's not.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Love that.
I actually,
So what I was thinking was, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little story. So, I don't know what year it was of sobriety, but I had this awesome idea.
Okay.
Because
so
I had
which
an
one is the
actual tin toolbox, a metal toolbox.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, you know what? What's in your toolbox? What's in my toolbox? What are the tools that I have to keep me sober? That keep me going, that keep me sober and keep me going. So I'm like, okay, well, there's the big book. That's the biggest
There's a
tool
USB
in the
that's
toolbox,
hooked up.
right? Okay,
That's
because it has
hooked
a
up
lot
to
of stuff
the
in there. The first 164 pages.
microphone.
The
That's it.
instructions for all the steps and what we need to do to work a recovery program. And then the next thing I put in there was, okay, so that's the big book, was the bigger book. And that to me is the Bible. And God really got into it. So then I'm like, okay, what else can I put in the toolbox? Well, I have all these lists that I
Not
get
an
from all
actual
the meetings that I
USB
go
one.
to
No, there's a
phone
bunch of
numbers.
like those weird
So it-
C ports. and
Like
shit.
squad lists in there, so I threw those in there. My next thing was, okay, now what else? Oh, I have a phone. The 100-pound phone.
Yep.
That is a tool.
Yeah.
We just have to pick it up and use it, right? And then I had meditation books and all sorts of things that, back when I first got sober, emails came onto the scene.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age. All right, so.
I remember when that
emails are
came in too.
Yeah, well,
Right. You're not that old.
yeah, and people start sending, these cool inspirational things across email to
Tell me
everybody,
exactly what I
right?
said.
That was before
It's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
On Facebook, exactly.
Right.
So, those are some of the tools that I have in there. And for me, those are very important for my recovery
Right.
and for working programs.
Okay, I have the gray one.
I just
that
added a
goes-
couple more, and
that
there's the
was the
4-step
one
workshop, which I heard about last week, which is, it's been an eye-opening experience so far. And then the other thing was,
Okay,
the
well,
back
that's the only
basics
thing I
one. And that is going to be my best tool, I think, for sponsoring.
There's a black cable with blue on it.
To get the students.
And then there's these cables
Right.
that have the little
Right.
twisted
Kind of
things,
the
the
essence, when
little
you're talking
dots
about
on
people
the
in
ends.
Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
And working programs, like get them in there.
Right. Get
them
moving.
working. Yep.
Hit the ground running.
No, nothing
you
has
feel,
a USB.
well, you know what, you're one of the first, I know about the toolbox, you or Bob told me about it before, but like to have a literal toolbox, like you understand, like to me that's cool. Like it's. I was just sharing, like, you know, my biggest thing is to remember to use the tools in my toolbox. Like you have a toolbox, like that's where this comes from. Like to really have a physical
With a long
toolbox.
black one.
You've got it loaded with your recovery items. Like, do you talk to your sponsees about, like, here, have you tried doing this? Like, you give that as a suggestion to your sponsees ever to try to use a toolbox?
I'm sending you a picture.
Well, yes and no, not to everyone.
It's just a side note sometimes, or what is it?
Yeah, when the time comes to talk about that, yeah, it would come up, but.
I
don't
guess
tell
some.
every one of them about it. As a matter of fact, I have some new sponsees and they're probably going, what? She hasn't talked about that yet.
Right. I just think the whole idea of a real toolbox is a good idea. Like, just to think about it, like a real toolbox.
It can be pink or purple.
Yeah,
or
like
anything.
yeah.
Paint it.
And then you're showing up to your meeting,
It can
every
be a
meeting.
cool
Yeah,
day,
exactly.
You know, whatever.
It's just another purse or whatever, but you're showing up to your meeting, you're not forgetting your stuff. Like, yeah, us boys carry a backpack, some boys carry a MERS, whatever you want to call it. Like,
I tried a fanny pack.
I love it. Our boy Mac Tate, he's all over
yeah,
that
yeah,
fanny
that,
pack.
that one, he got me. I don't like
It's
it.
literally.
The fanny packs are
Fanny
dope.
pack?
Like, they are dope.
You can't fit cases of Red Bull on a fanny
Yeah, you're right.
There is nothing here that's like that.
So, Amber, I kind of cut you off, but like right after you kind of shared your topic, I went right into my whole, I don't want to forget to use my tools. Do you want to elaborate any further or continue on the topic you brought up?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's do it.
So
Said the link you shared on Facebook is broken.
No, that's because of our audio. Everyone thinks something's up because the audio is so crap.
And they're still working on it.
yeah, we're still working on it.
Okay. Cool, man.
The last, week or so, mental health awareness has been right in the forefront for me, and that's what I was explaining to MJ. My oldest is going through some stuff, and it reminded me of myself at her age,
Okay.
and kind of where my mental health started, where my diagnosis with depression and anxiety and things like that kind of came about, and how that was handled. So being in this program, and working this recovery and what I've learned and the tools I've learned and been able to utilize, I'm showing up for her the way I needed somebody to show up for me back then. If
Did you
makes
have that?
sense.
At that age, did you have someone there for you?
My parents were there for me, yes.
Were
I
you
mean,
willing to take the help though? Like,
That's.
like,
was-
is your daughter, like, or your son or daughter, I don't, it doesn't matter, is your children or your child, what they're struggling with, are
Wait.
they open to receive your help? Like, a lot of times, the reason I'm asking is I know, like, I talked about this on
Plug
many
into the
shows.
back of the computer.
I was raised right from wrong. But this is just an example. I was raised really well from my parents. I know right from wrong. I made bad choices. Like, they always
Okay.
were there to teach me and help me grow in a positive way, but I wasn't there to hear it or accept it. I was gonna be a bad little rebel. Like, that's why I say, like, at that age, when you were struggling with that, were you open to receive help from, let's say, our parents or adults? Like, and are you, like, if you were or weren't, is your child, are you able to be there for your child where you're able to help? Like, are they willing to be open for your help?
Yeah, and even then, like, my parents were there for me, and
I just did it.
they were getting me the help that I needed. But I mean, let's be honest, I was a hellion. I mean,
Right.
I was a hellion, and I was the baby out of 4 older brothers. You
Oh,
know,
boy.
like my parents were busy, and I was
The baby.
Yeah.
I'm the baby too, though. Like, I know all about that. There we
So-
go. We got our audio. We're tip top Magoo. Thank you, guys.
I gotta go stop Cassidy from running up here.
Okay. Now, and you know what, audience? I'm not to cut you off. We appreciate your guys'
Thank you
patience.
for your patience.
Yes. I was over here just sweating, not sweating bullets, but I've been like in my head about it.
Any of the people who left, if anyone wants to message them and tell them to come back, that's
We're
fine.
back, and now Amber, you're in the middle of talking. We're kind of talking about mental health, and you were sharing with us that like right now you're dealing with that with one of your children, and I was asking you about like. I guess my question is this, like, I can look at it from my point of view. Like I said, like, I wasn't willing to take help. Because I was, what'd you say, hellion? I
Yep.
like that word.
Yep.
I was a little, like I say, I knew right from wrong because I was taught right from wrong. My parents wanted to be there for me and help me in any struggles or stuff I was going through, but I was, like, I knew better type deal.
My way or the highway.
Right.
Yep.
And, like, that's what I'm kind of asking, like, are you able to help? Like, it just comes out kind of wrong when I ask that way. Like, are you able to be there for your child right now while they're struggling, and it's beneficial? I guess. Do you see what I'm asking?
I get
Is
what
it
you're
being
trying to say.
like, and you're at a point now in life, like you well over your recovery, and like you're all, your head. I know you're gung ho about recovery, so like these tools you've been given, like you're able to help now with that, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like kind of explain like how that's going for you, I guess, because you did kind of share about that, but I don't know what the audience even got to hear.
Right. Well, one of the biggest things that I learned, I mean, from the time that I started dealing with it to up until now, which I still deal with mental health stuff, is that it is okay to not be okay. And to voice that is okay to do. And
Right.
I push that with my kids, and I always tried to be like, oh, I'm fine, I got this, and everything's fine. And meanwhile, I'm drowning.
Right.
And people around me think I'm doing fine because I'm telling I'm doing fine. But internally, I'm like all over the place, and I'm not doing okay.
Right.
And when I relapsed back in February or last February or whatever, and I fully hit that surrender, like I'm done. Like I'm done telling people that I'm not doing okay. I'm done telling people that like I got this because I don't have this. And on the days that I'm not okay,
Yeah.
I let people know. Like, oof, it's been a bad day today, and this is why.
Right. You're wide open about your feelings and how things are going, correct?
Yep.
I think me and Tad were talking about that too. It's like no one else. You know what? I was just talking to Derek about that. He was talking about it, and this is a whole side story, but it's about being open. Like he was talking about at work a promotion situation, and he was thinking of maybe moving on. Okay, and what they told him when he explained to him, like, I'm thinking of maybe exploring some different options, and they explained to him like, is it because of the promotion that we gave to Blow Joe? And he was like, in a way, yes. Like he feels like he was looked passed over. Well, they were basically explaining to him like, no, we have something bigger in store for you. Like you were definitely not overlooked. We didn't want you to get this position because you would have been stagnant at this position. It has a money cap, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, he even says like, he didn't know that because they didn't tell him. Like, if we're not open about our feelings, we're going to be stuck wallowing in our shit, and no one's going to know. Like, we have to be open with our feelings. Like, I'm learning that the hard way, and it's taken a lot longer than a year for me because you're right. How you doing? Oh, I'm all good. I'm blessed. Like, it's like a knee-jerk reaction for me to just be like, yeah, things are good. But in, like, retrospect, a lot of times we're going through some shit. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, you've got a lot of clean time, MJ. Like, has that been something you've dealt with? Like, just answering, like, yep, things are good. Are you pretty open about your feelings when a friend is reaching out to you?
Okay, so that's loaded. But here we go. So when you say you're fine, or if I say I'm fine, to me that means effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Okay?
Yep.
I'm not fine. Okay? And when I hear that from other people, I have to joke about it with them because it's like, okay, people, are you? Let's talk.
Right.
What's going on? What's really going on? And they're like, okay, really, it's not fine. But then as far as talking about things, it tells us in the big book that we need to do that. When we feel like, and something goes wrong, or if we do something wrong, or, let's say we're dishonest, or we steal something, or, or we've just had a bad day, we need to share that with another person.
Okay.
And we learn that We learn that in the rooms, that's what we're supposed to do. We learn that when we're going through the steps, that we can't keep this stuff inside of us. Otherwise, it's, we're only as sick as our secrets, right?
Yep.
We keep that stuff inside, it's going to end up making us sicker or just sick or sicker, whatever. So we need to share it with another person, right?
Right. Is that something you've dealt with?
Yeah.
Personally, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, absolutely. When I first came in, my my sponsor would get a phone call from me, I don't know, 3 days a week, 3 times a day. 3 days a week. Yeah, 3 times a day. We were on the phone a lot because I needed her. And I needed her direction. I needed her to tell me I'm not crazy.
Right.
And then as, the years went on of being in sobriety and working a program and whatever, and it's like, okay, but I still have things that life just shows up, okay? I can't speak to like mental illness or anything like that because I've never been diagnosed with anything like that. So I can't speak for that to anyone else.
Okay.
But I would have a resource for that person to go talk to, because I do more damage than anything if I.
Exactly.
So I don't try to fix people in that way. But for me, like take, for instance, my brother committing suicide. That was a huge event in my life. That was even worse than my father just passing away, suddenly.
Well, you were clean?
Yeah. Yeah, this happened back in 2014.
Yeah.
We had just moved to Ramsey. And it was horrible. But I had people around me, and there we go again. There's the tools.
Right.
My tool is the tools in that
The
situation was the
there.
fellowship of
Yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous coming around me. And thank God that my husband and I had those connections, because neither one of us would have gotten through that otherwise.
Right.
Right.
So
That's
it's that
that's
reaching
my
out.
favorite tool. That's what I told my sponsee. I was talking to him today, and because he I don't know, he thinks like I'm whatever. He wants what I have. That whole thing, but he also sees that I'm crazy, and I remind him dude, I'm insane. And I was like, look, man, I wouldn't have got through last week or the week before without my people.
Right.
I had a mental breakdown on Sunday, all in my head, all this shit in my head. I was quitting this show. I was quitting the board, all this stuff over something that wasn't a big deal. And, I just started calling. I went to the top of my phone list and started calling people, and guys, started calling men, because I needed to talk to men about it. And then, pretty soon, first 10 didn't answer. And then, pretty soon one answered, and then everyone's calling me back. So I was up talking about it till 3 a.m. until I was sick of talking about it, and it wasn't an issue anymore. And then the next day I had to talk about it with my female friends and the fellowship. And, everyone was like, dude, you didn't do anything wrong. You're fine. And you're a drug addict. I broke up with my sponsor. He didn't even know this. He broke up with me. And like on Wednesday when I talked to him, he's like, I'm glad all that shit happened. And I wasn't aware of it because that would have sucked. He just laughed at me.
I chuckle because Tad literally had a fight with me in his head that I had no idea was going on. And he's like, I'm mad at you. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. In here, in my head, I'm mad at you. And I was like, what did I even do?
We've been fighting all day.
He's like, we've been fighting all day. And I was like, about what?
That's what the monster in between our ears tell us sometimes. We can get caught. Rob's good at letting me know, Tim, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. And the book talks about that. We're good at creating stories. Rick was sharing that with us. We're things we go through.
A lot of stuff in my head is bullshit.
Yeah,
too.
but we can justify that bullshit with the story we're telling
If I don't talk to other drug addicts or alcoholics, if I don't talk to other people in recovery, I'm screwed.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like what MJ is talking about right now, or not so much with your brother's situation, but prior to that, this fellowship
support,
has,
advice,
that's
all
part
of that.
this.
Oh man, it's so huge.
100%. They have to fill in those blanks for me when I'm stuck in my head. You're not you're not breaking up with your sponsor because there's no reason to.
Well, because that never happened.
Exactly.
It never happened at all.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Me and Amber really never fought. That's why we were able to joke about it. And even though we really never fought, she won somehow, so that's cool.
Well, it's Women's Month. Get with it.
I don't know.
You know what? I want to say that again because now I know our audio is better. Is that this is the last Friday of National Women's Month, and that's why we tried to have a month full of women on our show. But we just wanted to make sure that we had some strong women in recovery on our show this month, and that's why you two are here. I know I'm repeating myself, but I got messages like a lot of people didn't even hear the first 10, 15 minutes of the show.
Right.
So I just want to thank you guys again for both being here and sharing with us what's going on.
With that being said, this is an interactive show, and we can't be interactive without you guys
Interacting.
Yeah, exactly what Timmy said. So, if you have any ideas for the show or questions for our guests or myself or Timmy, we'd prefer the guests because Timmy and I are going to be guests next month sometime.
Next week I am.
Oh, yeah, you're a guest next week, too. So, anyways, cut the promo.
Yes, 2218. They are the one who put a roof over our head. They're the ones who are letting us do a podcast here. 2218 Attitude for Gratitude. So check it out. If you're able to donate, we would be glad to accept some donations. Elena, who did go through hell and high water to get this whole audio thing figured
Elena
out,
and Matt
and Eric and from afar, like
Eric from afar,
lots of our team.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Hey, and right now at 2218, Recoveroki is going on in the auditorium.
Yes.
Cassidy does that, and he was running up here to come help us as I stopped
It's like
him.
a
and he
half
did it
block
twice.
away up steps and down.
Yeah. So we just want to give him a special
Yes.
shout out.
But that's the whole thing about 2218. There's so many things, like the Ride for Recovery. Like, we haven't even talked about it yet. It's the third annual 2218 Ride for Recovery, Saturday, June 26th. Like, check this out. This is what happens at 2218. It's an all-day event.
You don't even have to ride. So if
No,
you're not going on the
not
ride,
at
you could
all.
just come at 1:30.
Like,
and
let me
do the
break it
block
down.
party.
From 8 to 9:30, there's a pancake breakfast, all right? And donations, if you're able to donate, come donate. But there's time you can donate. There's your cleaning. There's tons of things that we can do to just show up is the main thing.
Yeah.
1:30 to 4, we've got the festival kicks off, featured band. Right? Like
No, yeah.
Like
I
I'm
just-
running a commercial here.
No,
like,
you're
I'm
doing good. I
figuring this
love
out.
you,
Like-
Tim. I'm
like,
just
check it out.
laughing because you crack me up.
Featured band. No.
Oh, you're such a dork.
We
I
got
love you, dude.
we got wristbands, $20 in advance. You get them cheaper in advance, 25 at the door. They're selling dope shirts. They got all sorts of stuff. There's gonna be the auction, silent auction. We
Yeah, oh
got
yeah, that's huge.
tons of donations from places.
There's lots of people running around in minivans creating mayhem trying to get donations for this place and doing all the service work. Great people.
Zoo Factor.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Come check
Yes.
it out. The following month on the 24th July, they're going to have their first ever annual rap battle and hip hop dance. Myself and Amber are helping host that with another buddy of ours, so it's going to be a blast. We're trying to get Amber to perform, even though she's not a musician. So her rap name is Little Sober.
Little
So
Little
feel free to hit her
Sober.
up.
Get it. She's gonna be over here busting bars like Little Sober. Get it, girl.
Yeah, they seem
Can
to
you give us a little sample of what you got coming up? I'm not putting here. Look.
what I got coming up is it's not gonna happen,
Oh,
Tab.
I thought she was gonna
No,
come in
I
on
That
that
was
beat.
bad.
We'll see.
know.
We'll see. I make no promises. Between
Cliffhanger.
him and the other person
Dot.
that is helping organize it, they seem to think that I'm gonna go all out with this, but I don't know.
I mean,
see.
this is what you know what
We'll
this started
see.
with talking about the promo. It's like this is 2218. We have fun here, tons of volunteers, tons of activities. Like it's not just a meeting. Like
Yeah.
there's a
events,
club.
and they're coming
Like,
back
yes.
soon. Like some of them, and some right now we have safe events because of
Yes,
COVID. but-
and that's the thing with karaoke. We should make that clear. Like it's not
Game
the
night will come
typical karaoke.
It's
Like
Recoveroki, but you wear a
Recoveroki,
mask.
yes.
They have a little.
the tables are set up. It's
I don't
not
know what
even-
it's called. It's a thing that goes over the mic.
It's a mic condom.
That's what they call it. Yeah, I wasn't gonna
it's
say
a
that.
condom.
I wasn't
like,
gonna say that.
I got you covered like a rubber.
No, I know.
Like-
I let you break the rules because I'm.
I think
supposed to
we
be
have a
proper.
question coming in. Is that a question?
Oh, we got a question.
Or are
Let's
we
go.
just getting on the bottom left there?
No, that's just comments.
Whoa, comments saying, hey, you know what? Everyone's checking in and being patient with us. We appreciate all that jazz. Like everybody. Amber,
Right.
get out there and expand your horizon. Cornrows and bars.
cornrows and bars.
Cornrows and bars. White
Sweet.
girls and cornrows. Love it. Yeah. All right, let's get back to some topics. That was a
All
little
right.
side note. But
So-
yeah, Elena put up the link. So if you're able to donate, please donate. It goes to a good cause. All these events we have. So thank you again, Elena, for sticking through and helping out, Elena.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
Y'all giving me a headache.
Yeah, nothing like
What's different about
nothing
any
like
other
a good
day?
attitude.
You're
Whoa.
doing it great.
Elena,
Great job.
What's
Great
different?
job.
What's
Thank you.
different about any other day?
Yeah, no.
Being my
Give
friend.
me a headache.
All right, well, you know what? You know what?
We love you, Elena.
You didn't pull all your hair out, so that's good.
That's because I have to have more hair than Tim.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh
bald.
wow! If you didn't hear her, she said she
She's
had
over
more
here,
hair than Tim.
Trying to like shots fired. Like, good luck. I win. I win.
So Amber,
Back to some
So,
topics.
Tad.
Who dropped that first topic? Who brought up?
Amber did. So
Amber
or-
did.
wait, but
Amber did. So I don't know if everybody heard about what I spoke about, which was the toolbox. Amber was talking about, being able to help somebody with, you say it.
Well, just being able to voice when you're not okay.
absolutely.
Because my topic is bringing up the mental health stuff, it's something that's been in the forefront with one of my kiddos. And I do push with my daughters that, you need to be talking to mom. Like, it's okay to not be okay. It's
Right.
okay to,
Yeah.
if you need to cry, let's cry. If you're
And
happy, tell me why.
I
Did
think-
you hear that, Tim? Did you hear that? I rhymed. Let's,
a little sober.
It's
full
okay.
effect.
And
Bar one. Let me write that down.
even when I'm, interacting with other females in the program, and I ask them like, hey, how's it going? Oh, and I'm like, really?
Right.
All right, how is it going? Because you paused for a second, so there might be something on your mind. There's no point in pretending like you're okay if you're not, because then you can't get help.
Right.
Yeah, you're a bad
whether-
one too. You can't get stuff by you. That's
No,
what-
not usually.
I know. That's what I don't like about being your friend. If I'm just trying to
But I
say
think
I'm
a-
okay and move
A
on.
lot of that goes with making sure you surround yourself with people
Good
who will
people.
not co-sign
Yeah.
your bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like
yes.
that's co-signing someone's bullshit when you just let them walk
I
off
know.
when they're like,
Right, right.
I mean things. Sure, they're okay, and you just accept them and be like, all right, good, see you tomorrow.
Well,
like,
so
I
that's-
don't want to be around.
That's
people
what
like
I
that.
love. I don't like it, but I love that.
Yeah.
That's a better way to say that. I mean, and let's be real. Sometimes we have to be specific. Because like when
When
you
you're out
might
of the
say
room,
you're
yeah.
tired,
When you're out of the
and
room,
your
we
friend
talk
might
about that.
say goodnight.
Right. Like, dude, you're dropping tons of inside jokes we're not following.
So Amber was having a rough time, and I asked her how she was, and she said, "I'm tired, Tad." I said, "Okay, good night," and that's not what she meant.
No, because I wasn't being specific. I was avoiding it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I even do that sometimes.
Yeah.
and
Like saying
it
you're
doesn't-
thirsty.
It doesn't get me the help.
It could
Right.
be so many different You never know unless it's being explained. Like, I'm an older guy. Like, I remember when email came out too. So there's a lot of like
You're
things.
older.
Yeah, there's a lot
Mature?
of things I don't know unless it's being explained to me. Like,
Right.
it's all good. Like, here's a good example. Someone saying it's all good. Like, it can mean so many things. Like, hey, I just got this new car. It's all good.
What?
My dad just died. How you doing? It's all good.
Right. Well, it's like
You
the
know what
fine
I'm saying?
thing.
There,
It's like
that's
the
from,
fine thing.
It's from one end of the spectrum to the next. But
How are you doing? Fine.
yeah,
Fine.
No, and she
Fine.
weren't in the room when she was talking about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
'cause MJ
fine means effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yep.
You can swear if you want.
And
You don't
no,
have to.
I
but-
don't.
Doesn't
I
swear.
don't.
Okay.
I
That's
try
awesome.
not to. That's
Someday
one of the,
someday
one of
I
the
wanna
things in
be like-
recovery that I learned is that you know what, we don't need to swear
Yeah.
anymore.
Someday I,
I don't
want
need to be
like that.
gangsta.
Gangsta.
Yes.
We don't have to correlate swearing with gangster. I mean, jeez.
Whatever.
Oh snap! Get a little sober. Hey.
So yeah.
my
So
gosh.
anyway, yeah, I don't really care to do that. And I know this is like going out on
No worries.
Yeah, you're good.
out in media, but
So fine, effed up, insecure, neurotic, and-
neurotic and emotional.
Emotional.
Yep.
Okay.
And and what I had said before is that I know that when I have a sponsee or someone or a friend or whatever, and they say they're fine. Okay, so what is really going on?
Yep.
You
Right.
know? And do you want to talk about it? And I know that we need to be sensitive to each other and try to get each other to talk about things.
Yeah.
Make it okay to talk about things. I have a friend of mine. She and I would go to dinner, and she's not in the program, but we'd sit down and we'd start talking, and she'd start talking about something to me as I'm asking her questions. She'd say, I didn't really want to talk about that. You just have this way of making me talk about
Nice.
things.
I know
Yeah.
people like that. I know people like that.
And I'm like, well, apparently you needed to talk about it, and I must be a safe place for you to do that. So I'm glad,
And
And then coming back to the tools to use in order to help people or to help ourselves in recovery, and that is, I wanted to talk about the toolbox. What's in your toolbox? And, the bigger book, which is the Bible, squad lists with phone numbers on them.
Tools.
You just look down,
Back
like
to
Tad, you were
basics.
just talking about going down the list of names and trying to find
Yeah.
somebody to talk to.
I got
that's
250
important.
contacts in
Yeah.
my phone, and some of them I might never call, but I know that they're clean in recovery, and,
Right.
and,
Right.
and I'll just keep going down.
Well, like MJ's saying,
Get
like with
someone on the phone.
tools, like it's as easy, and this is as in life and the things we've been taught. Like it's as simple as you got to have that highlighter in there. You got to have a pencil in there. I think you said an eraser. Like even though they're small things, these are part of the tools you need in recovery, but also in life. Like these things were, pause. Or what were you saying about the rock thing? Like get yourself
Grounding.
grounded.
Grounding,
So
yeah.
there's so many of these little things that like if you just don't remember to use them at the time that are most beneficial when you're
Well, and that's
supposed to
why-
be using them.
And that's why, like, I tell my sponsee to, and I didn't elaborate on this when we were having audio. When I tell him, like, look, man, you might call me. Like, I call my sponsor all the time, and he's not always available. So then I move on. So I tell him to get in the practice, and this is something I try and do. I try and call someone 2 to 3 times a week, someone from my phone list, and then I have people that I talk to. And, like, so Tim got busy. I'm just going to share. Tim got busy, and I expressed to him earlier this week, like, we haven't. So I start calling Tim, but, Tim's busy, or vice versa. Tim's had to call me, too, just to talk. And so, like, relationships are work, man. So, like, I have to put in the effort, and knowing that Tim's busy, but I also know that he has a phone and he can work and talk. So I've been calling Tim as much as I can when it's convenient so we can build our relationship and continue it. And, and I had to express to him, like, I feel like we're not good friends anymore. And he's like, you're insane, basically. And I'm like, well, we haven't hung. He's like, I know everything that you're doing, Tim, but inside I feel like we're not good friends because we used to go to 4 meetings a night. We used to hang out and it's just not that time right now. I'm busy doing Tad stuff. He's busy doing Tim stuff. And that's the way it works. But when I said,
That's that mountain out of
And-
molehills, dude. We all do it.
Catastrophizing.
Yeah.
well, and
you're
it
getting
was
in your
it wasn't
head and you're
it was just
co-signing
how I
your own
felt.
bullshit
I know.
sometimes.
So, but
we all
also,
do it.
But also, I wasn't putting an effort into keeping that friendship either.
But see how you were even making a list. You're like I know you have a phone and you can do it while you're working. Like I know we did this before. Like there's been no incidents or reason.
No.
So like it's like, but then we get in our heads.
Right.
Like I'm talking about myself. I say we like I got a turd in my pocket. What I'm saying is me. I will get in my head, and if I don't bounce it off other people, whether
Right.
recovery, regulars, normies, whoever.
Wasn't I dead once because I
Like
slept?
yeah,
in?
and but that's the thing. Like
No, I
the
get
plan
it.
was we were gonna bump heads at noon the next day. So I don't hear from you. So then my head starts going.
yeah.
But prior to having a reason, I'm not gonna start. I can't do that to myself
No.
anymore. Like we start telling ourselves stories, and man, Rick really helped me with that when he was like. Our anger is justified by the story we tell ourselves. But if the
So,
story we're
what-
telling ourselves is not correct, you're going to let your head make some
What are
decisions you don't want.
some of the tools you two use when you guys start to not believe your own crap?
Oh, okay, we'll go with the one who started laughing first.
Yeah, MJ.
When I don't believe my own crap?
No, so that you don't buy into your own BS.
Or are you past that? Do you not deal with that anymore?
No, I talked to my sponsor and I talked to other people in the program. I mean, just exactly what you guys were talking about. That's that fellowship that we build up around us. That's what we're doing. We're not just coming to a meeting and just sitting there and expecting to get results by just sitting there, right?
That's
Like
what
a
I
car-
thought when I
a
first
car-
got in the program years ago when I was 19.
Well, yeah, if you don't
You
know
can't
any
become
better.
a car by just sitting in the garage, right?
You're still
got-
one of Bob's
We
lines.
got to do the work.
Bob's good about always
I
saying
don't know
that.
if he started that or if I did, but it's I think we heard
I
it
think
maybe at the
MJ
same
started
time.
it.
I'd
so
give her
that's
the
okay.
credit for
Yeah,
it.
we're giving MJ the credit. Sorry,
You
Bob.
can sit in a garage all you
Oh,
want, but you're still not going to be a car.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's a saying like that. You think like, what's your thoughts that you consider? Bob will post that now, but yeah, it's you can't sit in a garage long enough to become a car or some. Bob, Hey, Bob.
You can't.
Send that message.
Little
I said-
sober, what do you do?
I said it right.
When you get in your head like that. What do you do, Amber?
Oh my God, I can't believe you called me that on air.
Oh, you're so little sober.
I know.
I know, it's
I don't
official now.
think-
You
I
seeing
don't
what
think
people are
it's
already
going away.
posting. Like, that's little
I
sober.
don't think that's going away anytime soon. Thanks to JP for that one.
It was Little Burr, but JP was like,
Yeah.
Little Sober.
Yep, that's how that came about. But no, yeah, just reaching out and talking to my people. When I first jumped into the program, my circle was really big, and my circle's getting smaller because I'm finding out the people that I'm able to talk to that stuff is going to stay with those people. It's not just like we're in recovery together and here's all my stuff.
That's actually
It's-
how we became friends.
How's that? Oh, the circle.
Sharing our
Yeah.
shit
Yep.
with each other and
Yeah.
having similar
Similar
stuff.
experiences. Yep.
And the fact that stayed between us.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
other than right now,
Yeah.
but
Well, just John H. He wrote something really well. It's like I'm gonna read what he wrote. It's helped me when I'm in my head by staying properly armed with the facts about myself that came in the result of the fourth and the fifth step. That being said, when you clear the shelf, it needs to be replaced with healthy. Oh, I skipped that. With healthy, like the punchline. Clear the shelf. It needs to be replaced with healthy things daily. Like, that's part of these steps we do. So we're getting outcomes when we're working these programs that our predecessor set up for us. Like, that's part of it. Bob wrote it down, but I know he used his voice, his voice, so a lot of it came out gargled. He refixed it a few times, but
I want to say hi to one of our very first guests who said totally Amber, by the way, Sammer.
Sammers.
Hey, what's up, bud? I've been hanging out with my boy too much. You got something to say?
Yeah, there's a comment I want to read real quick.
Read it.
Read it up.
From Jamie?
No, it's from Kyle. It says, having grown up in a society where asking for help or expressing my feelings was a sign of weakness was one of the hardest things I had to overcome before my recovery could even truly begin.
Right.
That 1,000-pound phone wasn't so heavy once I was able to grasp the concept and started realizing that it was actually helping and was okay to let my feelings fly. Having feelings means I'm alive, living in here in the present.
Wow.
I've heard people,
I've heard
more
that a lot.
specifically men, say that asking for help is a sign of weakness. They feel as if they cannot ask for help because it's a sign of weakness.
Which is messed up because every time I do ask for help, I've been criticized for asking for
Ask-
No,
help.
I hear.
too.
Keep going with what you're saying.
Asking for help is a sign of strength.
Yeah. Right.
Because that is showing that you are not capable of doing it on your own and you're okay with the fact
Yeah.
that you do need that help.
And-
I find it to be, yeah, I mean, especially like you said, society. Men
And-
are supposed to be okay. They're supposed to be content. They're supposed to be strong. They're supposed to be brutal. They're supposed to be this, that, and have everything put together, and they're not allowed to have feelings, so to say, based on society.
Right. But something's wrong, especially
they're
for
super
us people.
strong. Yeah, they're super
recovery.
strong when they're able to admit, like, I'm not okay, and this is the help that I need, or I'm not okay, you know, and this is why. That is a sign of strength to me, not a sign of weakness. And it doesn't matter your sexual orientation.
Right on.
It's
Word.
just,
Right on, girl.
yeah.
Well, what are you?
Well, and you know what they say? It's an old saying for a reason. Closed mouths don't get fed. So
Right.
how are your people? I mean, how are your people supposed to know if you're struggling? Like I remember,
goes back
I
to the
remember.
first 2
There's
minutes of
been
the show
many.
we talked about
Yeah,
that,
there's
yeah.
been many a times where I've been like, Tim and I have talked about this before, where we've sat in our shit and been like, oh, these people don't care about, but they never knew.
Yeah.
And what I've heard from other people about and this is just for me, is like, Tad, you look like you have it all together till all of a sudden, boom, you don't. And you're flipping out on people or you're out relapsing. And you know, obviously, I've had to learn this time in recovery that's, if I'm not okay, I got to say it.
Right. Yep.
And it's okay to not be okay.
Yep.
I've shared that in the
Yep.
past year or so, a lot more than in recent. And I was gonna kind of go down the whole making it a sexual thing about boys and girls, but it's true. But what I've shared, and I stand high on this moral too now, is like I break, and I want newcomers to hear when I share this because I make it real clear to them because a lot of guys do come into these rooms not knowing that it's okay to do that type of stuff. Because I will share about how I'm so grateful nowadays that I can go to another man and tell him, hey, I'm hurting. Like, I have no fear in doing that now. Like, when I first came in these rooms, maybe I did. I don't think about how that was a hurdle for me, but like To tell another grown man, like, hey, dude, I love you, man. Thank you, man. I'm fucking hurting today, dude. Like, I'm struggling. Like, to tell another grown man that, yeah, maybe it's society or the stigma of that surrounds us. And, like, coming from a woman saying that, then, like, you validate maybe that is the way it is. I can't identify with that as much, but I know exactly what you're saying is the truth. And a lot of newcomers will come in, whether 20, 25, younger newcomers will come in not knowing, like, you can get strength from another man, and it's okay to reach out when you're hurting. You have to do that to get through some of these hard times. Like the go-to is to go find the pretty girl in the room and try to, like, find some, like, satisfaction through a quick relationship or something, and then you're just in for more struggle. Like, we see that all the time. Like, I see that all the time, which scares the hell out of me about getting in a relationship. And that's just another fear thing that's my own deal. But, like, I do want to make sure, like, newcomers here, when I'm up there talking about whatever, how many ever 24 hours I have, like, I tell another man, like, I have no issue. Like, me and Bob in the boat, I'm like, hey, I'm fucking struggling, bro. And I got to watch my mouth, too. I hate swearing this much. I really do. But when it seems, and it's such an oxymoron, like, I get passionate, then I swear, and that's not what I want to do. Because I sound ignorant as hell. But I am proud to be able to go to another grown man and tell him I'm struggling. Like, I don't know, that sounds bad because I don't like to be struggling. But to be able to do that, and is that just normal for women? Like, you guys are just like, that's normal just to go to another grown, like, another woman and just.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. I mean, for me, to open up to somebody and actually tell them what's going on in my head, no. Because I didn't want to be judged. And I didn't want somebody to try to fix me. And especially going to another woman because they're actually my competition. Okay? So my mentality when I first came in was, why would I want to tell another woman what's going on, you know? I came in the rooms.
Inferior or like?
Well, no. The thing is I didn't know how to open up.
Okay.
You know, I didn't feel like I grew up with that, to be open in a relationship and you know, whether it be with my parents or with friends. And I didn't really have a lot of friends, you know,
is it kind of
that
just
were
bury
close.
it? Like, just bury it.
So bury it, and you know, you know, it's a symptom of a problem to be using drugs and alcohol, right?
Right. Well,
So my head is all mixed up. I don't think right, and so what I'm doing is I'm trying to stuff that down. Yeah. Because why am I going to share that? I'm going to be judged by it. I remember sharing with one friend of mine in high school. Actually, we grew up together, and just telling her what was going on in my house. And she knew what was going on in my house, you know? And she's like, why don't you just run away and you can live with me? And they lived like 5 houses down. You know, like that's not going very far, right? Not far enough, you know, as far as I was concerned. But all of the stuff that I looked at in my family that I thought was going on and was dysfunctional really wasn't.
right.
You know,
it's going on
I
5
mean,
houses down too.
you know, yeah. I mean, it's not like we were that extraordinary or different than any other family, really. And it's just what I was thinking.
And you know
so
what?
to open up to someone else and let them know what's going on in my head, they're going to certify me as crazy. They're going to certify me as, oh, she's just, no, don't even mess with her.
And I feel like
she
I'm
doesn't know
making,
what she's talking about.
I feel like I'm categorizing or making it a sexist thing. But you know, from what, like you said, what you said is, all right, men are this persona of this, but you want to know something? What I see is women are nasty when it comes to that type. You don't want to share because I'm about to say something that's not right, but like you women. Oh
my God.
All right, so listen.
Tim speaks for himself.
Yes,
just
I'm
so we're
speaking
clear.
for myself, but I'm speaking just the exact same way Amber just said about, she was like, men are supposed to be strong, and like there's this persona, they're supposed to be, you know, no feelings and tough and this and that. Well, women, you tell another woman this, and then you go shit talk. Like you guys are nasty.
That's not just women.
No, I know.
I live in a sober house.
But that's the persona that, and you women can be nasty. Like I've heard the second the one girl leaves the circle, the other 3 are like, did you see her? Da, 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 da. And you hear about what she did? Da, 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 da.
I know.
I'm sure it happens with us guys too.
Oh man.
But that's that persona that happens with you women. And Amber, go ahead. Come on.
I know. I'm sitting over here itching like, I gotta hop on what
You
MJ said.
You
I
just
gotta
hop
just
in.
say it. I gotta,
That's with
I gotta
me and
hop
Tad.
on
You gotta
what
just
MJ
get
said.
in.
I think it's just
But-
humans, but go, Amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just humans. I mean,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants
Everybody
to feel
wants
like
to be
they're
loved.
weak. They-
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But MJ had said, the not wanting to open up or not wanting to share or get close to another woman for fear of being judged or them being like, oh, well, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
MJ's got this going on. Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da. That started for me in grade school. Because you had mentioned something about the high school. That started for me in grade school. I
that
had
just
shared,
My whole
Gossip
life,
or-
I felt like
no,
that.
I shared a very personal thing, like trauma of mine, with a good friend who I thought was a good friend back in grade school. And she went and told my entire grade. So people would be walking through the hallways making these snide remarks to me. And that's what ended up kicking off this whole mental health thing. And then I had
Right.
I wanted to escape living
Right,
and I
yeah.
didn't want to be here anymore. And the people in my grade weren't very, it kind of all snowballed and, life happened after that and it is what it is. But that is where my not trusting the same sex came from. Because I was like, wait a minute, I just shared something huge with you and you betray my trust on the
Right.
highest level.
So it was a personal experience.
It was
that
a
made
personal.
This happen.
Yeah. And
Right.
then when I jumped into the program the first time around, I was like, I don't want to go, what? A women's meeting?
Right.
That's funny. Nope, I'm good because I didn't want to be judged or any of that. But now in this time around, I have 13 months today, guys. Today.
Yeah.
For the first
First
good
time
half
ever?
of my yeah. For
Yeah.
the first good half of my recovery, I stuck with women. I hate women's meetings. I kicked off a mom's meeting with Bridget. I don't know if she's watching right now. A mom's
listening?
meeting. I chaired a women's meeting. I was around women because that's where I needed to be. When I put myself back into treatment, I went to an all women's facility.
Right.
And I put pride and ego on the shelf and I was like, look, ladies, I love you and I'm cheering you on and I don't care what you think of me. I'm crazy. You're crazy. Like, we need to do this together because I need you, not the opposite sex.
I agree with that because I couldn't talk to girls like about stuff my first year or so, and like now I have multiple best friends that are females. 2 of them are in this room,
That's awesome.
Elena and Amber, and like
That's awesome.
Elena was my first girlfriend that wasn't like
Girlfriend?
yeah, she was my first female friend, and like I was able to open a relationship with Elena that where I could talk about my stuff and she could be like, and it was a perspective and like
Give you that side of the.
yeah, and I'm glad it went well because if it wouldn't, I probably would have closed myself back up.
Right. No, of course you would have.
Yeah,
Of course you would have. But see, that's like Amber just shared, like her circle was so big before, and I know Elena can share the same. Like, because I've heard you both say it, but like there's still, all right, we're still going to deal with, some guys thinking like, oh, you don't tell another man you love him. We're going to deal with women that still bicker and talk shit when you walk away out of that circle. But over time, this big circle, you've shrunk that circle to be around these women now that you can trust. You know that are going to treat you the same way you're going to treat them. Like, it takes time to figure these things out in recovery.
Right.
In life.
Well,
I'm
and
saying
it
in
changes,
recovery,
too.
like in life.
Like, so my circle changes. People have been, I have an inner circle with my people, and then I have an outer circle with people I see a lot and deal with. And it's not that, and like, look, man, some people, things happen.
Well, some people go back out, and luckily some
Yeah,
people
I
come
was
back.
going to
but
say, do you care?
he was on the
so
show.
me-
Yeah, he
yeah,
shared.
no, I know, but so like, my Matt and I, we ran a sober house together, and we were thick as thieves. We were like best friends, and Matt started doing his own thing. And me and him kind of, I don't know that we had a falling out, but we didn't talk about it like men. We didn't talk about it, and then as he shared what happened last week, but then he came to me and was on it, and like he reached out to me, and we don't shoot our wounded, and I didn't shoot him. As you can see, he's healthy. Can you guys justify that? Can you guys tell the audience that I didn't shoot him?
Nope, he's very much alive.
Yeah.
He's very much. He's even smiling.
No. So
I want to repeat that one more time, Tad. We do not shoot our wounded.
no, and you know what? then he made the decision to come back and help with the show all on his own, and he get plugged in, and that's it. That's it. And like just like that, he went from like being on the outside of my circle to back inside, just
Right.
like that, because he put in the work. And that's a him thing.
Right.
And so we don't shoot our wounded. So like just because me and Amber are best friends today, maybe we won't talk in 2 years.
I don't want to talk to you tomorrow.
Get him a little
Wow.
sober. Get him a little sober. All right, we
That
got a
makes
question.
That makes sense.
We got a question, and I'm going to shoot this to MJ first, then to you, Amber. And this is a good one because I know both of you are very spiritual and religious women. So I want to give this question to you first, MJ. And this comes from our good friend and great listener, Matthew C. Tad's good buddy. Question: when was the moment that you had that spiritual experience when the light bulb went off on your head? And that everything will be fine, and that oh my gosh, what a great reader, went fine, and you had that overwhelming sense of peace. So when was the first time you had that spiritual experience? And basically, like, well, that the question word for word was what I read, but do you follow what he's asking? He's asking when you had a spiritual experience of when the light bulb went off in your head, that everything's going to be fine, and the overwhelming sense of peace came over you.
He's talking about serenity, I think. But go ahead.
He's asking about spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Have you had a situation like that happen?
I've had many.
Yes.
What was
For
one of
many-
what was one of the
for-
biggest ones that stick out for you?
Many different situations, and I think the first one is when I was sitting at New Hope, Illinois, talking to someone, and people started coming in. I wasn't working that day because I had gotten fired from my job. So anyway, people started coming in, and they were disappearing up the stairs. And the gal I was talking to asked me if I was going to a meeting, and I said, yeah, I think tomorrow, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, right? So anyway, I kept answering her. She kept asking me, and I kept answering her, saying, probably tomorrow, Well, this guy had come down, heard her tell me that, or ask me that question, heard my answer. He went and got some coffee, grabbed an ashtray, looked at me, and he goes, are you here for a meeting? And I went, and he goes, grab an ashtray, let's go. And I went, oh, what, huh?
Oh, the Yellow
and,
House. No.
And yeah, and so I went upstairs to the room, and it was an all-men meeting, right? And I was scared. I was so scared. I'm like, I'm with all these guys, but there's a cute one sitting across the table, so I'm staying. And anyway, old habits die hard.
Heard
Okay,
that.
so anyway, so I'm like, all right. So they opened the meeting, whatever, and the next thing you know, the guy who was supposed to give the meeting wasn't there, and the guy next to me opens the meeting with the topic, and he goes, let's talk about relationships. And I looked at him, and I'm going, what? Relationships, what? Okay. So I sat there and I listened to all these guys talk about their relationships. And they're not only talking about their relationships with their significant others, but they're talking about their relationships with people in general, too. And just how they talked about all of that. And we're talking about the solution and how they bring the solution into their marriages and into their relationships and whatever. To me, that brought that was a light bulb moment for me, because it was like, do guys really talk this way? Seriously? And so I'm just like, wow, And for me, that I think was one of my spiritual awakenings, or one of the light bulb moments. And I've had many
that guys are
then.
like no different.
No,
than
they're
women.
not. But the thing is that the guys in the rooms are trying to work on a solution,
Right.
And they're trying to bring something different to the table, whether it be with other people in their lives, or their significant others, or their family, And I hear that time and time again of how people are, trying to bring, the principles and the traditions into their relationships and their families. And it was an amazing meeting. And so then after the meeting, what did I hear from the guy who was chairing the meeting? He goes, okay, well, thanks for joining us. And I was the last one to talk, right? And I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, well, I'm just here, okay? But anyway, so the chair of the meeting said, well, he said, you should probably check into a women's meeting. And I went, because I'm like, a women's meeting?
Right.
What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. And I am so glad they did, because they introduced me to these women and I got into this meeting, but I got to tell you, I was still scared of them. I went in.
That's super crazy. That's how I found my first men's meeting back up in Fergus. I went to the Alamo Club all the time, and I walked into an all women's meeting. And, and I was
The
like,
opposite. That's so cool.
I know. I was like, I'm out of here, and they're like, They're like, oh, you need a meeting? No, we're gonna let you stay this time, and. Yeah, that was pretty awkward. That was more terrifying than me going to treatment for the first time. I was so scared. I'm sitting in that room sweating, and I'm like, oh, God. And then they hooked me. That's how I met my sponsor at the time, and like got my home group from that meeting. From that, I had like the opposite experience, and I don't know. I still get nightmares.
I think the
about
biggest
that, but
question.
It was okay.
I think the biggest question that comes out of your story, MJ, is what happened with the cute guy.
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm joking. So Amber.
I found a different one.
Yeah, you did. Hell of a fisherman, if you ask me. All right, so Amber, when was the moment that you had that one of the biggest spiritual experiences when the light bulb like bling and like
Bling bling.
that you want to share about it? I know you've probably had many.
Yeah.
Like, what's one that sticks out for you that you can share with the audience?
The one that I always go back to is when I had went to go do my fist up with the pastor, and there was a liquor store that was across the street, and it looked like a good idea to go get something to drink before I did my fist up. And that's what kicked everything off. And unfortunately, that ended me up in the back of an ambulance coding a couple times on the way to the hospital. And when you leave this earth and you see people who are no longer here, that shook me to my core. I see my grandpapa, who had passed away when I was 15, and one of my best friends I used to play basketball with back in grade school. In the back of that ambulance, and they basically were like, "You're not done. Like, get your butt back down there." And it was only about a week later, and I was in the women's treatment facility because I was like, "That's it. I hear it. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. Like, this life is not for me. It's gonna. I got shit to do down here. Right. I got shit to do." So that's the one that I always go to the most when I'm asked about a spiritual experience or like awakening, because it shook me to my core. But I have multiple. And sometimes it's not an experience that's just in one moment. It could be a week-long experience. Because I'm dealing with something and I'm praying to my higher power who is God, and I'm asking for that guidance, or I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, and like I'll hit a meeting and the reading is spot on, or somebody will share and it's like what I need to hear. So God's speaking to me through other people about whatever it is that I'm battling with, and
God
I
with
call
skin.
those spiritual experiences.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, because there was a week where things were just kind of crazy, and it's like 4 or 5 days in a row. Everything that I was needing the guidance on was coming out, whether it was in a reading, in a share, or somebody's story, or, just a quick conversation with somebody. And I'm like, man, you don't even know what I got going on right now, but this is touching base on it, and I'm hearing you, God, like, check.
Well, I have
get it.
something I want to ask you about, and if you don't want to talk about it, that's all right. But I know you it's not been so recently, but about 2 months ago, I believe you went south, all the way down to Texas for some. I don't want to tell your story, but I believe could you want to share about that? Are you okay sharing about that? When you went down there for whatever reason you went down there, you can share whatever and what happened, how it's getting stuck, blah blah blah. Because I think you making it through that and a lot of us outsiders followed along via social media with your daughters singing songs and that was uplift. Like, I remember showing my mom the video of your kids singing that song, like, brought tears to her eyes. Like, there was so much, and the reason you were there, like, things like that. I should have talked to you before the show about, are you okay sharing about that? But I've heard you share about it in meetings. And I think it's a powerful thing, and how you made it through that, and your interaction with some outside entity, someone else, blah, blah, blah. Take it away.
You know what?
If you're okay with it.
It's all good. That trip, man, if I'm going to be real honest,
Yes.
I hopped in on that trip with selfishness.
Share on it.
So I should have never went down there. Not because I didn't deserve to have a break from my kids or need to get some me time in there, but I did it on a whim out of selfishness. And, I think being the
You
fact
went down
that I
to
ended up,
Texas.
being
Yes.
the fact that I ended up staying there for 4 additional days that were not planned.
Because it was during the time that they
That
got
they
hit
had-
with the.
The weather that came through that Texans were not equipped to handle. And I was one of the first flights that got grounded out of Houston because I had a layover in Houston. And so I hopped on, I got the text message about, we're going to put you up for the night in a hotel. So I immediately hopped on it. I was like, I'm going to get myself a room. Like, I'm not going to get stuck at the airport. And the first night that was the Sunday because I was supposed to be home on Sunday. Sunday night, we lost power at, I think it was like 11:30. The hotel lost power. Well, Houston lost power.
Was your phone fully charged?
It was.
Okay.
Partially. Thankfully, the fitness center was 2 doors down from me, and for whatever reason, there were 2 outlets in there that worked. So I was able to pop in there. And
Your little secret outlets no one knew about?
Yeah, well, a couple people did, but it was, and one of the only lights for the hallways happened to be the hallway I was in, but as soon as you turn corner, like, it was pitch black. Like, I mean, it was, that trip tested everything in me, and there are some people that are on here that are listening right now that don't know and are about to find out. My very last night that I was there, I actually seen the inside of the hospital because I knew that's where I needed to be, because being that far away from home and sitting there by myself, your mind is a dangerous playground.
Right.
Don't
Hell
go
yeah.
it alone.
Hell yeah.
And now I'm sitting down there by myself, isolated. We don't have electricity. We don't have running water. My room is getting cold. I mean, that was the other thing. Like, the room was cold showers. I'm filling up buckets, like, as I can, like Tim said, following stuff on Facebook. And
You're down to like 2 Funyuns. And
right? Yeah, because the kitchen, they closed the kitchen down, but then they opened it up for just breakfast, lunch, and dinner because they were shooting power where they could.
Right.
And 2 days into it, the kitchen ran out of food. And everywhere's closed down in Texas. Gas stations are closed down. Then they started doing the rolling blackouts, and it was chaos. I will say, though, that the people that I met while I was stuck at that hotel, the stories that I heard, some of the people I interacted with.
well, you gave your room to a stranger, right?
Yeah, yep,
A man,
yep,
right?
yep. And I don't know if he's on here. His name is Spencer.
You stay in touch with him?
Just through Facebook.
Okay.
But he was sleeping in the lobby with no blanket, no pillow, no nothing, and I had went down there and I was like, man, you're still here? You're you can't get a room? And he's like, no. So we were kind of sharing the story of like what ended up him ending up in Houston, and he was on his way to Mexico City to scope out an area to go do mission work,
Right. And you were down there for what reason?
just to get away from up here.
Okay. I
Yep.
thought it was something else. I thought.
No, it was just
okay.
to get away from here, and I
Okay.
knew somebody who was down there, so that's what I mean by like the selfishness. I kind of took advantage of that situation, and I very much so should not have done that. And
See, I didn't know. You
lesson
know what? I
learned.
should have talked to you beforehand, and I apologize. I thought there was another reason you were down there. I thought there was some missionary work or something you were down there for.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
no.
I did. I thought
It's
you were
all
down
good.
there to be baptized or something. Who knows what?
No, I
But
was
okay.
just going down there to get away from up here.
That's what we need to do
and-
sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so him and I got to chit chatting or whatever, and his beliefs, he was Latter-day Saints, so we were just kind of sitting there chit chatting and whatever. And there was something that told me like, it's cool, because I had a king size bed and then I had a pull out couch, and so I was like, dude, I have a pull out couch. Like, you haven't, like, you're cool to come, crash on that if you feel comfortable, whatever. And the conversations that him and I had in that day and a half that he was in my room, and the games that we played this game called Splendor. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I saw it on.
It's like some, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, and I don't like bring it up into your story, but like this, you went down. Okay, selfish reasons. You went down there for you time. Couple things about this. Like, you could have got away with some things no one would have ever known about. You were down there doing you. You made it through some shit that like most in Houston's got through it with a bottle next to them. Like
Right.
that's just what a lot of people do. Like you, and then you interact with some guy who's not the same religious beliefs, but you can respect each other's situations, and his stories like it sounds like you got a lot more out of this. This whole thing was so huge for you and your recovery. Like, who cares why you went down? What you came home with. Like, just what you've shared in meetings about it, like what other people have gotten out of it. Like, I think it's a powerful story. That's why I brought it up.
Well, we often
and-
go to do something and something else comes out of it
Oh,
entirely.
100.
One thing that was super crazy about this gentleman was when we were talking and stuff, and I was sharing that I was in recovery and whatnot. Okay, he's from a family. He's the oldest out of 11 children, and
And they're not Catholic? No, I'm joking.
and his
Oh my
parents.
gosh.
Yeah, I'm going there.
His parents run their own treatment facility.
Huh.
So not only am I talking to somebody who is very Christ-like, his parents run a treatment facility. He understands all this. They don't touch substance, so he understands it, but he doesn't really understand it since he's never, touched anything. But then there's me that's down there struggling, can't get myself to a meeting, can't, the Zoom stuff, but then I'm saving my battery because the
Right.
charging and all that. And now I have somebody who basically was like an angel that was like, here you go. Like, you need this type of support
HP.
right now. Higher power. Yeah,
Right.
most
God with skin.
definitely my
Yeah.
higher power. And we shared some pretty interesting stuff with each other. He had a similar background as mine as far as like some trauma stuff goes and things like that. And that was even crazy. It's like, man, like,
You were also an angel to him.
That's what I mean. Like, there's so many different
Okay.
facets of your experience
Seriously,
going
look
down
at
there.
that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Like this
God
guy's
put
in
you
a
guys
lobby.
together.
Yeah, exactly. Like MJ was saying, like it's
Right.
there's
You
so
took-
many different angles of what occurred, and you're telling yourself like, I hope you're not beating yourself up for
Right.
whatever reason you went. Like you work hard in this recovery, and you work a job, you take care of kids, and I know what you went through
You volunteer-
with your
like, you
children.
do a lot
like,
of stuff, Amber.
like
You
you're
help
a
lot of
mom,
people.
and you fought to be a mom. Like you went through some stuff to become who you are today. So you took a few days. That's what we do. Like who cares about that aspect? Like she was saying, like you were some angel in some dude's life who's stuck in a hotel lobby with no pillow, no blanket. Like come on,
Yeah.
Like you helped say. I wonder if they were charged. That was the other thing I was always wondering. Like, did they charge him to stay in the lobby?
I don't even know.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
don't know.
could any bum just come, or not bum, anyone just come in like, hey, everything's closed. I have nowhere to go. I'm gonna kind of stay in the lobby. Like, I wonder if they hit him up with like a 20 a night charge or something. I don't know. You get to ask him.
I
next
know
time
I
you
got
talk to him.
charged for 2 of the nights that I was down
Full
there.
price?
Because I was there four nights at that hotel, and 2 of them I got charged. No. The one I got charged was 50% off, and the other one was 75%
And then the
off.
other two were free.
And the other 2 were free.
That ain't
Which
bad.
I was like, whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
Right.
Well, and you know
It is
what?
what it
Also, like you said through Facebook or whatever you're talking. Do you know? Did he ever end up making it to Mexico?
He did, and it was phenomenal. He made it back. He let me know when he got back to Houston. He let me know when he got back home. This is the crazy thing. He drove to Houston to fly out because he lives in Texas. He drove to Houston to fly out from there because he was in North Texas and they were getting that weather first.
Okay.
And then he got to Houston and then he got grounded. During the time that we were interacting, his kids were with their mother and her apartment roof collapsed because of the weather.
oh hell
So then
no.
he was trying to battle with does he get in the car and does he drive back north 4 hours to make sure everything's okay and this and that and I
Yeah.
was battling with the getting a rent a car and just coming home and then I'm like we weighed out the options. Either we're going to be stuck in this hotel or we could be stuck on the side of the road,
Right. We talk about that too. It's like Texas they're not ready for it. I mean,
Right.
we're Minnesota. We understand it's like they got their
Well, yeah.
ACs on the roof of the house. Like their ACs ain't ready for snow on top of there. It's just they're not built that way.
And I mean, looping back around to what we started the show with, our toolbox, so I got stuck up north, not the same situation. I self-quarantined at the beginning of COVID with my girlfriend at the time for 2 weeks, but it was the first time, just got a year, and she wanted to drink, I wanted to drink, we talked about it. And it was the first time in my year, it was like a year and a month, that I was away from here. I was away from this place.
Right.
2218, I was away from my support network. And so my program travels with me. At times I was able to call people, but at other times I had to use my toolkit. I had to do things that I had been practicing for that.
Right.
I hadn't, I was
Were you
just.
consciously, like, this is what I was going to
Well,
say.
I
like,
came back all pumped up from it, talking
So,
about,
like, consciously,
about how
you
my
were like, all
program
right,
travels.
you're with your girl at the time. Like, were you consciously using these tools? Because that's my biggest
Yes.
thing I always talk about.
Yeah,
is, like,
I had to
remembering to.
I had to call my sponsor at the time, and I had to call my friends because we started. I'll just say we. So we started bringing up. We could drink and no one would know.
Right.
And I said, and like
We
one
can
of us
start
said
easily co-signing
and
each
one,
other's shit.
Well, and I didn't allow it to go there, but because I just said I would know, and I feel like my friends would know.
Right.
I feel like they would.
Right.
And I said also, and then like weird things happen. One of my really good friends had a crisis happen, and he called me, and I talked to him for like 2-3 hours, and then other people, guy who works here, he became he got kicked out of his sober house, and I had to do.
You were doing recovery stuff.
Yeah, and all of a sudden there was some 2218, and I had to do stuff. And then the next day I attended a board meeting as a squad council president via Zoom on my phone.
Right.
And I was going to treatment at the time, but like I could have mailed that in.
Right. No, but while all that was happening.
Because there were a couple days already where I was like, oh, the internet didn't work.
Right,
And one
right.
day it did, and so I took 2 extra days pretending that it didn't work. Yeah. So, and I magically got I was on government assistance at the time, and they had cut it off by accident, and all of a sudden I got it back, and all of a sudden I had $800. And
So all the stars aligned.
but
were-
I had to tell people, and I
Right.
had to, and my program traveled, and I got in the book, I got in the literature, and that's
Well, that happens with me. Like I think about it because MJ's here too. But like my boy Ron, like he's a normie. Okay, like that's the one friend I have, really, from before all this stuff, all this recovery. He's like the only friend I really have. And I'm trying to think if I have any friends listening that are normies that I'm not mentioning. But like I have 2 main fishing partners. My boy Bob, who's in the room next to us, his wife's on the show, that I do a lot of fishing with. And my other good, like my brother Ron. Like when I'm with Bob, we know when we're talking recovery talk. Like that's what we do. But I'm with my buddy Ron a lot, and we'll be out in the boat fishing, but unconsciously or not, I'll sit and talk to him about life stuff or whatever's going on. And do you need something?
Just shut the door.
Oh. I love when I try to whisper on here because everything gets picked up. I got busted on the second show saying something real just dumb. But no.
Sorry.
That's why they call me the wordsmith. It's something I said about that, but whatever. So, like, I think about, I have a friend who's a normie, and we go out fishing, okay? And I'll sit and just, like, we're talking, you know it's like fishing? Half the time you're talking, half the time you're fishing, half the time you're taking in the scenery, or I got millions of pictures of the sunset, like, just fishing for
That's
me.
painting.
Like, fishing for me is recovery. And it's like, I'm out there with my boy who, he's an army. Like, it's weird for me to think about it because I'll come home from like a weekend of hanging out with him, and like he doesn't really drink it's not even that. It's just I get so much recovery out of doing these things, whether I'm consciously using these tools or I'm just being me. It's like you went down to Texas to get away. Your plan wasn't to take in some Latter-day Saint and make this connection and give him a roof over his head. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
and I have to believe like the higher power thing or like religious or spiritual experiences or things that happen. I truly do, like, for a reason. You ended up coding in the back of that thing and seeing that like you've got bigger plans, bigger things going on. I got to believe there's that type of stuff for a reason. Those thousands of pictures I have with these sunsets, like I can't believe some science made that up. No. Like, that's where I can confirm to myself there's something greater and bigger out there than me. And I have to put faith in a lot of that sometimes. And when it comes down to questioning it, I look at these sunsets. I look at going out fishing, like that type of serenity. You can't pay. Well, you can pay for it. But for me, that's like, that's my spiritual experiences. Like, I just kind of answered the question someone asked, but that's for me. That's what it is. Like to have those type of things. So John writes, recovery is autonomous, meaning self-governed. So recovery actually is defined by what happens when nobody is around and we are outside in the world, out of our safe bubble. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was
Yep.
good.
Yep.
I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Or wait, you know what? Before I do that, we always add, bring some topics. Is there anything else you guys wanted to make sure we talked about tonight?
Well, we can go a little later too because we started.
Yeah, but I know that they were pretty. What time? Why are we already getting?
Well, I guess it's just kind of. I mean, if we're gonna be popping over to some other stuff or whatnot.
I know you girls met up and
MJ
talked about this, so I don't want you to be cheated out of some topic time.
MJ, with the toolbox and stuff like that, that stuff that is highly important. When I was down in Texas, I had my big book and I had my basic text. Like it was both in my bag, and I had my sketchbook, and I had my journal. Like that is something that I didn't have my bath, because I push that self-care. And for the
you're
people
an every
who know
nighter.
me, yeah, for the people who know me, know that at night that's my me time.
You don't want to take an ice bath?
Ice.
Oh man,
Did you have a microwave in your room? Oh, no power. No power.
Tim.
I am slow, Joe.
Timmy, no power. But I did think about carrying it over to the fitness center and plugging it in because, I just wanted something warm. But, I didn't do that. It is what it is. But, MJ, the toolbox and needing to have it and the big book or basic text, whatever fellowship you're in, the Bible for both you and I and whoever's higher power might be God. That phone, the phone list, the meetings, the friends, that's huge.
Meditation books.
Yep.
Yeah, that 24-hour
Sponsor.
book.
I can't put my sponsor in my toolbox, but
You would, though, huh?
her phone number is in my phone, and I do call her.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can put in your toolbox. And like you said, Tim, and I didn't even think of this, a pen, a marker.
I've heard you share about it
You're
before.
gonna be doing that, yeah.
I think it was at New Hope, not the Yellow House, but the one across the street. You shared once, and I heard you share, and it was you who talked about the toolbox, but you correlated all the way down to you got to have an eraser, you got to have a highlighter, you got all this. I think you maybe have white or tape or anything you could think of, and you keep adding to it. It's no different than a recovery. You just had a physical toolbox, but my recovery, that's probably a smarter idea for me because storing it up here, it's not. I have to remember to use these things that you guys have taught me.
Right.
We have predecessors that put in a ton of work. Tell them, little sober,
What?
we have predecessors that set this up for us so we don't have to try to figure it out. We just have to take in these things that they have already kind of put in front of us.
A suggestion.
Heard that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, you keep saying the highlighter, getting that highlighter, putting the highlighter in there. I smile about it because when I go back into my big book now and I see what I highlighted before in a different color and then what I have now that I'm highlighting and just I can almost see the growth. Yeah,
Yeah.
almost see my journey through my highlighter,
Right.
and it's man, I wonder what I was thinking when I highlighted that one green.
I hear a lot of old timers share this,
Right,
but
I heard-
Recovery.
That's cool.
every time they go through the book again, you get something new out of it. I hear Bob talk about it a lot because he's always he goes through, it sounds like, since I've known him, it's almost constantly, always restarting, always. We had a Thursday night men's meeting where, we'd start at the beginning and every week you're progressing. But then he's also going through it with this group of sponsees. So he's always going through it and every time he always shares something oh, ding, ding, ding. You get something new out of it every time you read. It's personal.
So true.
Yes.
It is. It's really true.
You can share on that. Because you have 20 or how much clean time do you have or recovery? if you don't mind. It's not
26 years.
Yeah,
So
proof.
So when working with others, like I said, it's building a fellowship and working with others. We got to reach a hand out and help these people who are coming up.
The lifeblood.
They're coming in, and they're our lifeblood. And for me, it's been that's where I learn the most is when I'm working with others. I learned so much more about human beings you know, and what
Right.
makes people tick. And I also learned that, you know, some of the tools I have, I might need to go sharpen that one, or I
Right.
might need to, you know, drop this one and get a new one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, how the program is being honest, open-minded, and willingness, right? Well, that has held true in my sobriety and in working things with people and in talking with people, and it helps so much to keep remembering that, because if I don't remember that, you know, being honest and open-minded and willingness, I'm gonna end up stagnant. I'm gonna
Right.
end up not doing anything, you know. And I remember when Bob and I moved out to Ramsey, and we really didn't see our recovery community for almost 9 months, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
We'd hit a meeting here and there. And by the end of that, I was like, we can't do this. I
Right.
can't do this. I know I can't.
Like,
I can't
you
be
just
that
feeling
far
it,
away
right.
from people.
Right.
You know, we got to do something. And that's why we started that meeting on Friday nights
The
once a month,
bonfire,
is
yeah.
you know, the campfire meeting, is because, you know, why not? You
Well, and then it
know, why
helps too,
not?
and it's grown into something spectacular. Like
We
the
started
only-
with 8 people.
right, and I think the last one I was at, it was that one. There was like 80 people,
There-
but like
there
now
was
because of the show,
94.
yeah, because of the
Yeah,
show, we
yep.
don't get to make the bonfire anymore. But Tad was able to go out. You made a couple of them, I think, at the end there.
2, yeah.
Yeah,
2, and then there was like an impromptu Wednesday night.
Yeah, there
one.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Your sister came. Yeah, that was a
it.
Wednesday. It was a Wednesday.
No, my sister went on the regular one.
I was at the inside, the garage mahal.
No,
was
no,
a
no. I
Wednesday.
went to like an actual one bonfire. One
bonfire.
night. Yeah, I've been to 3 in the garage and 1 bonfire.
And now we
Elena
just,
brought me,
because of the
actually.
show. We just don't. We were not able to do it, like just because
Right.
of the podcast. But it's evolved into something so big, and I'm glad. This is gonna sound shitty, but I'm glad you were feeling like, you know, things were getting bad, because then out of that evolved the campfire meeting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now it's grown into what it has. And your recovery community, I mean, you help lots of women in the program. Your husband helps lots of men in the program.
Right. I haven't told my husband this yet, but I want to do like a women's night.
Yes. Yes.
We're starting a new meeting at our place.
Bob, you hear that?
Or maybe it'll be a women's breakfast on Saturday morning. I don't know yet. Well, you know, I'm going to start thinking about this.
Saturday mornings.
Never enough recovery meetings, right?
Never. No. It's like,
10 o'clock.
Saturday mornings, there's the big book at Blaine at 10. So, I mean, like, I kind of got to sit in that chair. But, man, I'm all for getting together, like, group of women.
Absolutely.
well, and that's the thing. Like, to grow our recovery community for me has been huge. It's easy to get stagnant. Not going to meetings. It sometimes with that COVID and early times, it was starting to feel comfortable not going to meetings. Like, and that scared the hell out of me enough to come be part of being part of a meeting that was getting going. But then all of a sudden I was there 5 days a week. And after 2 months of that, it was a stagnant situation. So now, like, I've kind of sprouted out to tons of the 1010 or Uptown or, you know, Midway. Like, to me, that's the biggest part of having this get to option and the choice of going to alternate gatherings and different fellowships. For me, even like different fellowships have been huge. There's another fellowship we've talked about. There's another one, and it does 7, 8 readings before the meeting even starts. Like, sometimes it gets old because it's the same readings every meeting. But I have a friend who shared with me after a meeting. We were talking about the meeting, you know, the meeting after the meeting, and like I had someone shared, and of course, like a couple of giggling women, we were sitting there. That's terrible. Like a couple of just gossip,
Wow,
like a
wow.
couple.
Did he say that? He said that.
I know,
said
and
it.
I took it back.
MJ, should I just sock him on?
I
real quick?
recognize-
Come on, little
Let's
sober.
start throwing things
I
across.
recognize
Come on,
what I
Silver,
did.
get 'em.
I recognize what I did, and I apologize. So we were
About
over
to
there.
get
We were
gangs on
gossiping. We were gossiping after the meeting about something, and he's like, "You know what? We did 7 readings. This kind of goes back to the toolbox and remembering to use the tools. So this meeting, like, I never correlated this with it, but this other fellowship, we have those 7 readings. It's like praying before a meeting. Like, the third step, or like welcoming God into the room before we do this podcast to help walk us through it. Like that fellowship has all of these readings, but each reading is specific to like, we do recover. And like there is a change, and there's there's all these things. Like if you can keep that fresh in your forefront while going through these meetings, like it can be a successful meeting if it's not a successful meeting. As long as you incorporate that and keep that with you throughout the meeting. It's like remembering to have your tools with you in life. It's like this. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
What?
Oh my god.
Say something.
Mic drop.
Um,
I was gonna say you better not have broke that mic, dude.
No, I dropped my
it was
phone.
fun.
I know. I was doing something else.
Yeah, I know.
Talking about hitting other meetings and things like that.
Yeah. Speak
Brandon
on it.
R. had said one of the biggest things that we need to remember as addicts and alcoholics is to be honest, open-minded, and willing. If you're living in your comfort zone, you're living
Yes.
outside your growth zone.
Yeah, tell him, B.
If you're not living the solution, you're living in the problem.
Oh, he's in there next to Bob. That's why he said that. That's,
Yeah.
Quit stealing Bob's
Oh
line.
man, right?
We have to live in the solution. Like Bob's good about saying that. Like, and now Brandon is. See, that's,
I'm saying,
our
like-
predecessors help us with that. But yes,
Stepping out of that comfort zone,
yes.
and growing. And sometimes growth can be painful, but it's okay if you have the right tools. You
You
know?
know what? Try to go. Yeah, like going to a new meeting, especially by yourself. Elena can understand what I'm about to say. It's like I'm going to all these meetings here, and then all of a sudden to like go to Midway by yourself and never being there, like it's just a different meeting. It's the same type of fellowship, but it's a different atmosphere. And like to go by yourself, that is a situation where you're getting outside yourself, trying something new. Definitely, for me it was like, and going to the Life Center, going over to Will Work. Like these are all different, but it's all, recovery based, but it's good for our growth. Like, and if you're not willing, if you open-minded, willingness, like you have to have that. I have to have that. I have to have that in order to grow. Like
That's the how.
that's the how.
That's the how.
Right.
It's ever growing as long as you're open for it. Tad, what are we thinking?
Yeah, you've been kind of quiet over there.
He's
I've had a
Got this
long day,
maturity
dude.
look.
yeah.
I've had a
Letting
long
us
day.
rip it.
VIP over there. VIP needs a little rest. Whoa.
I don't get rest. After here. I got to go do some
God,
other
now I gotta
stuff.
pull a small violin out for him and Elena. Jesus.
No, and then,
We all got up
Elena-
early.
well, I was
Don't
gonna
just
say,
jump
and then
over
I
the
got to be
table.
your friend.
Yeah,
But yes, you should
no.
pull 7 small violins out for that.
Yeah, we
If-
we all got up early and we all worked all day.
Hey,
So
I have like almost like a traveler's hangover over here because of spending multiple hours in the vehicle yesterday.
oh man, it was fun though.
you got jet lag?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how. And then I went out.
St. Paul,
and
John.
I was up till like 2, and then
You want to answer
at work,
John via
and
text?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, so hey, instead of rambling on about all this stuff, Amber, what are you grateful for today?
What am I grateful for today?
Yes.
As always, my heartbeat. I mean, that's always something I'm grateful for. 13 months sober.
Yeah, a little sober.
A little sober.
My recovery family, my kids. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right. So my youngest, this is
great.
like, this is one of the things I'm grateful for. Sometimes I don't always know if what I'm doing as a mother is the right thing. I mean, like, being a parent in general, like, you have no idea what you're doing. You're going in blind. You've never been a
Right.
parent. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to handle stuff. And before I left the house, like, she totally hyped me up. I was talking about, like, Mom's a little nervous about this. And, mind you guys, this is my 8-year-old. And I was like, Mom's a little nervous about this. And she's like, no, Mom, you got this. She's like, just imagine, the people that know you, they're going to be excited about you doing it. And they're going to be grateful. And, like, you're going to feel good about it afterwards. And I'm just like, yeah, this is coming out of my she'll be 8 in May, my daughter's mouth. And I'm just like, yes, kid. Like,
Your
I
kids are awesome.
love you. You are phenomenal. But I mean, that is one of the things I guess I'm grateful for, because when I feel getting a little stressed out earlier today with some of the stuff going on with the kiddos, and then like having a moment like that before I leave, and it's just like that's it right there. That's what I'm grateful
Do you
for.
say things like that to her?
Yeah. Well, I always build up
See,
my
it
kids.
correlates right back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that is the mirror
Yep.
being
Yep.
shown right back
Yep.
at you. That is amazing.
And it's scary
That's
to
a
think
miracle.
it's a good thing you're living the way you
Beautiful.
are now, because look at how spongy, like they're sponges. Like it's good.
MJ.
It's a good thing.
What are you grateful for today?
What am I grateful for today? Oh my gosh, so many things. I'm grateful for my higher power in my life because it's very evident that my higher power works in my life, God, as I understand Him. That's my biggest thing. And then, all the other things that, which are minor compared to that.
That's awesome.
Seriously.
Turn that mic on, guys. We got a
Yeah.
grateful hour. Matt, want to grab that? Elena.
Yeah, Elena, what are you
Elena,
grateful
what
for
are
today?
you with your mask.
COVID, go.
My name's Matt. I'm an addict. Today I'm grateful for so many things. First and foremost, God, my higher power. My friends, my family, all my needs are met. I'm just grateful to be back in these rooms and doing this recovery thing with all you guys. Love you all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Elena, what are you grateful for tonight?
I am grateful that it is Friday. I'm grateful that tomorrow is my favorite day of the week, Saturday, because we all know that Elena does nothing but recovery on Saturdays.
Whoop whoop.
I do nothing but recovery every day, but Saturday is like my biggest go-to. So I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for my kids and my family and all of my friends in recovery, which are also my family. So
Yeah.
yep. And just so everybody knows, tomorrow's my date day with Amber every Saturday.
Yeah. What up,
10-10,
Andrea?
baby.
Am I going to say this on there? Tad, what are you grateful for now? Say it with a smile.
Say
No,
what
I
you
was
said.
just immediately
Say with
thinking
your
about
chest.
ripping you a new one on the air for fun. I'm grateful that I don't have to live that way. I don't know. The list goes on. I'm grateful for my sober family. Like yesterday was amazing. It was a long day, but it was like a 9 to 1:30 in the morning recovery day. That's cool. And I don't know. I'm grateful I get to do stuff like have a whole van full of people run around and get donations, and then we can stop and meet JP. Shout out to Minnesota Hope Dealers.
Yep.
Get hats, do goofy pictures, and then my friends can come through and we can go play video games. We beat a whole Ninja Turtle game yesterday, me and Josh, and
I
one
thought
of
there's others.
no, I'm getting to that, and this would have pissed me off because it was all on my dime back in the day, and I'm grateful I don't get mad about this. My other buddy came in on the end guy after we spent an hour on this video game and beat it, and he took our high score somehow. So, but I'm grateful that
Oh.
it's
Are
a
you
high
feeling
score on the
some
game.
type of way?
It's like,
Oh yeah, but so was Josh. We were both, but we know.
Video game.
Yeah, we know that's typical Michelangelo behavior. But anyways, so like I'm grateful I get to enjoy these things and it's fun now because that stuff really would have bugged me. Like I really would have played that small violin that you like alluded to earlier, which I wasn't. I was just stating I'm tired, which is okay. So, and I want other people to know that it's okay, even though like we make fun of people and Tim like said that. It's okay to say that you're tired and you had a long day. That's perfectly okay. Tim, what are you grateful for?
Yeah, Tim.
In one ear, out the other. I'm grateful I can let shit just slide off my back and not give two shits. I'm serious, because a guy could really take things to heart nowadays, and I don't. I just don't. I can't let it get to me, and I'm grateful. I am grateful I can do that. And that's me being grateful for that. But first and foremost, my mommy and my daddy.
I was gonna be like,
I'm
what the
so
heck?
grateful for my mommy and my daddy. Like, they know I love them. Like, I've got family that has my back no matter what.
Yes.
My brother, like, I've got an older brother that, you know what? He's got his health. Like, a lot of people don't have their health. And my older brother, Jay, is just in my life, and I'm grateful for that. You know what? I love my family, and they got my back, and no matter what I do, it seems like they're always there for me, and that's something that I can now in recovery appreciate. Like,
Yeah.
I was too selfish in the past to realize that they were there for me no matter what. It's like
Oh my God.
I'm grateful for that. Like my pops, like you know what? And I have a biological dad who's there for me too. Like he's listening in right now. Like I keep seeing he must be refreshing. Like it's showing he's on. But like I have family. Like that's huge. I don't take that for granted. I hear a lot of people's stories and like they don't have family. Some bridges get burnt and they burn their family out of their lives. I don't foresee that ever even being an option. And now I know it's not because I have recovery. Like that's what recovery's given me. Like I don't ever need to do that to my family. And I have this extended recovery family. I've got these cheerleaders. Like my niece is getting married. I get to appreciate that. Like be present for that. Like I've got Kate. All these. I want to name all these friends I have that are popped on, but they know who they are and I love them. They're my cheerleaders. They keep me going till tomorrow. Like I love everyone. I love them. I just love them. Go get them, little sober. Hey, little sober.
I love that you
Oh my-
said. I love that you said your parents though, because I
Right.
know my mom and dad are listening in on this, and
You got a great kid over here.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't.
Oh, she's an amazing woman.
Thanks, guys.
Like
Because of the people I surround myself
right.
with. You know, but they're my best friends these days. Like I
Right.
can go to my
That's so
parents with
awesome.
Damn right.
anything.
Yeah, be
Right.
open.
My mother's the same way.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said in the beginning, that I call my family dysfunctional. Well, it really wasn't. It was
Right.
me.
I was
right,
just
right.
thinking that. Like,
Exactly.
I was thinking the same thing.
And my
like,
perception
about
of
myself.
things.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Tim,
now that I'm a mother of 3 daughters, like mom, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna
take
say-
that curse off,
Oh,
please.
man.
No, I'm just kidding. It's
I'll
a
never
blessing,
forget
but like it's
when I
just
started going through some
eye-opening.
stuff with my kids, I remember just bawling and going and giving my mom a hug and like,
I'm sorry.
how? Yeah, well, I said that and I was like, what the fuck do I do, Mom? And she was like, popcorn, you'll figure it out. But she gave me some advice.
My mom just said that to me. She was like, I don't understand. Now, this is just maybe her view on it because whatever. She was like, I never wanted to say to my kids, like, because when we'd be putting my mom through shit, like, she would just, that poor woman, Jesus.
Right.
But like I
Right.
remember a lot
feel
of
that,
moms being like, I can't wait till your kid does this to you. Like my mom says this, like I would never.
Every parent says.
No, my mom was like, I never wish that on my kids. Like, and that just shows me like how shitty we were at times. Like, it was so bad. She's like, I don't want to wish that on your kids. Like that's how I saw that statement. But like she, you know what? And I don't know. She's just always been like, I wouldn't wish. I don't know. Maybe she's
So-
just overthinking it. Like I don't want
Anyway.
them to have to struggle the way we did with you little
Damn.
shits.
Tim, while you're going down memory lane, you want to talk about Jane in the kitchen?
You know what? We have this thing here at 2218. It's called the Gratitude Cafe. This lady Jane, who's she's been here forever. She makes some of the best food. Like a lot of Alanos used to do this before COVID, but the way we've got it set up here at 2218 and how we can social distance and we can be safe about things, we still have that cafe. And for $5, like you're getting a home cooked meal, you're getting a dessert, you're getting something to drink, and you're getting it with some love.
Right now, it's just Fridays.
Oh, we bumped it down to one
No,
day.
yeah, it's just Fridays.
Just-
That's all Jane can do.
And that's, you know what? She's on the mend. And it's just, that's here at 2218. For $5, you're going to be full.
We sold out of food today.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other clubs able to do that right now because this place is so big and they have a full, like, restaurant commercial kitchen.
It's a church license. so-
What you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
you can't say that though.
okay,
Bar
I
experience,
take that
service.
back.
We
We
can get
don't
shut
have
down.
a restaurant
Yeah, we
kitchen.
can get
we have a
shut down.
church kitchen.
Yeah, you gotta watch
And-
what you say. That's why I'm here to clarify.
Yes.
Sorry.
Don't fucking. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, come check out the Gratitude Cafe. It's on Fridays. $5. You can't
great.
beat it.
So Tim, what happens after that?
Well, Tad's gonna drop this thing on us.
Well, no, we have a very special buzzer beater tonight because it's not by Tad. It's going to be by Timmy J. It's
Oh.
his first time ever, and he's just finding out about it now.
You already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So here's this buzzer beater. What it is we're gonna come up with some recovery products, kids and girls and boys. I love this one.
We're going back to the products.
Yeah, hell yeah, we are. This is like, come on. So if you don't know what this is, MJ,
Step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Jane.
yeah,
Come
that's
up with
not
something new.
original.
I don't have any other ones. Like, I don't have any. I can't. I'd be bringing up one of the other ones, like some 12-step and blow Joe. No, I like this one because there's millions of different recovery products and it's fun. It's fun.
We'll do this for Timmy.
Unless you got a different one, break it off. Let's go. Different buzzer beater.
Well, okay, I'll come up with a buzzer beater while you name off recovery products.
Okay,
That's called compromise.
So Elena had one. It's Serenity shampoo. See,
I love
like
that.
Because everybody wants to wash their hair, right, Mary Jo?
yeah,
Oh,
it'd
here
be
we go.
clean. Like 13-step mace. Like Matt, like this. See, this is a bomb one.
Bug off.
Bug spray, yes. That's
Bug
exactly
off.
what I thought too. Bug
Oh
off.
yes, that's awesome. Like anonymity apples.
Spiritual awakening energy drink.
Spiritual
Ooh, there you
awakening
go.
energy drink.
Oh, nailed it.
Oh, I'm thinking like that's the buzzer beater question. Like, all right, which?
Well, no.
Yeah, I know, I know.
That was my product. We're just going with yours. I'm not coming up with one.
Oh, all right.
I
Well,
want some gratitude candles.
gratitude
can.
candles.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget
All
what
right.
mine was last week.
And someone with bubble baths.
No, it was potato chips.
Yeah. What was it? It was like peaceful potato chips.
We can go.
Is that your Amber voice?
Peaceful. No, mine. This is sober air.
A little sober.
Little sober bacon nuts and tater chips. Hi,
is
Dottie,
great.
Brandon, everyone who's checked in.
Dotty's my mom.
Dottie.
Oh.
Dottie,
Hi, Mama.
Dottie.
Hi, mom and dad.
She's absolutely
Hey,
amazing
I
and
want to
beautiful.
thank you for
Wonderful. Yeah, okay.
blessing me with one of my best friends.
Oh, shout out Dottie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Big
job.
Tom's
props.
on there too, but he doesn't comment on Facebook, so
Who,
Tom's my
Dad?
dad. Yeah.
Oh,
My dad Tom's on there too. Hey,
Kyle just said positive potato.
positive potato chips.
Is that
Grateful,
what I said last week?
grateful gains meal prepping. Yes.
Oh my gosh, Tad. Sit down. Get out of here with that.
I am sitting.
All right, MJ, what was yours? Did you come up with one?
I haven't come up with one.
All right, now buzzer beaters are usually now go.
Food.
Peaceful pizza, anything like
The longer you let him go, he's going to take all the good ones because that's what he does.
Optimistic oranges.
miracle mushrooms.
No.
Let's stay away from the mushrooms. Let's stay away from the mushrooms. We're in recovery now. We don't have to live that
I
way.
think my
I'm
mind just
kidding.
snapped shut.
That's all right.
Happy hula hoops.
Yes.
I'd love the hula hoop. And now with all that extra weight,
Do you
like,
really?
All right.
ooh,
0-calorie cookie dough.
Heck yeah.
0 calorie cookie dough.
How about I'm done. I'm checked out.
I am too.
Right.
I'm like, yeah.
Well, speaking of like that rap battle and stuff like that, I hear Timmy's gonna be hula hooping now.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the dance competition.
So,
I heard Tim
each
was
arm,
entering the
each
dance
thing.
competition since you're
Yeah, and yes, all that jazz.
dance
I
off.
take
Tim's gonna
part.
dance off.
I'm gonna off with something.
Get jiggy with it. Na, na, na,
Yeah.
na, na, na.
What's your? So she's a little sober. What's your? You got a competition dance name, Tim?
Competition dance name.
Is it like jazz?
Loose
hands?
Legs Timmy.
Loose legs, Timmy.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
Loose
not-
Legs Timmy.
He's been doing this for years, huh?
Don't get it
He
twisted.
didn't just come up with that. I don't
Hell
believe
no,
that.
it's Loose Legs Timmy. That's my hip hop name too. Loose Legs Timmy.
I'm like,
Cause I get loose with it. No.
we're totally signing Tim up. For
I
the
dropped
rap
like an
battle.
eighth of a bar last week. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like Cat in the Hat, baseball bat.
It was the first
Old
time we
school,
ever
old
got
school.
complaints about the podcast.
Oh boy.
It was your haters.
yeah.
It was haters.
Haters bring more love.
Don't be hating.
Haters are motivators.
I don't care. I do what I want.
Don't be drinking that haterade.
Haters
I
are
voted for-
motivators, MJ.
Oh my
Haters
God.
are
I
So,
got
hey.
voted into Congress and I voted.
All right. So here at the Attitude Group, for gratitude brought to you by 2218, we want to thank all of you for listening. And, if you want to donate to 2218, we got links here. Feel free on the website.
Smash that button. Donate.
We forgot about
like
that.
button.
Smash it.
Wasn't there something else we were going to talk about today, too?
Yes, there was.
Do
I'm
you
trying
remember?
to recall the conversation on the steps you had with me about it.
And we were like, one of us will remember, and neither of us remember. And we don't.
Son of a bee.
It just.
Gosh, we suck
You guys should
sometimes.
put a swear jar in the middle of this table.
No
and-
way.
It wasn't. We filled it up with
We-
rocks.
it was.
This was actually
wa-
tame to the most of the shows.
Well, I think it's because you and I are sitting here, MJ. Like, I really
See,
do.
that's the thing
I
with
think-
swearing. Like when you start, it grows, but then when there's none, it's lows. grows, lows. Oh, snap!
Okay, we're
Yes,
gonna. All right.
he is the opening act for the rap thing.
Oh, Pointy McPointerson.
As a comedian.
Tim and mystery guest next week. Stay
comedian.
tuned.
It's over.
No, we're still banging.
Okay.
So check it out. I just want to thank MJ. And
Oh yeah,
I wanna
next
thank
week's
Amber.
show. Thank you.
Like-
So we've had it. Yep.
I want to just thank him real
going.
quick. I want
Yeah,
to
do
I
it.
want to thank you both for being here. I always make it real clear. There's a reason we have people on the show who we have. There's a reason you two are here tonight, and I know it went by quicker than you thought it would.
It did.
Sorry about the
You'll be back.
technical issues earlier on. We did get through it. Your guys' fans were able to hear you by the end.
Right.
I'm just grateful that you guys were here tonight. I really am. Even though you volunteered, like we had thoughts about you coming on the show prior to you volunteering back when we first started and we were talking about it. Like,
I mean, prior to my husband volunteering me, is that what you're saying?
yeah, seriously, aside from that.
Voluntold, MJ.
Hey,
Because you work with tons of women in this program, and I know you do, and that was something that was eventually being brought up. And of course, I didn't know this was Women's Month. Someone told me, but we're just very grateful. There's a reason
this
you
is
two are
awesome.
here this week, and
Yeah.
we love you, and we're grateful
Hey.
for you.
We're absolutely grateful. And we got a great show next week.
Best one of the
so
year.
we're gonna have Tim's not gonna be here hosting because, and you know, my sponsor Rob will be here, but we have a guest.
Yes.
Tim, the same guy. So he's
Me.
gonna be a guest with a mystery guest. Dun,
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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
You're gonna hear my story next week.
Oh boy.
You're gonna hear
Anyways.
my story.
Say
So
what?
hey,
I think I'm
I
busy
just-
next Friday.
I just want to say thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it, and I'm honored to be here and be able to share experience, strength, and hope. So
Thank you, MJ.
that's all
You
I
are-
gotta say.
Yeah.
you
No.
want to say anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
I just want to, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here, and the fact that I'm on this show with MJ. Like,
This
man,
is pretty cool.
she rocks this recovery world, and I look up to her. Something fierce,
I
and so I feel honored
You
to
do,
be
girl.
sitting across the table from her. Well, Kitty Corner, whatever this is.
You know, I want to say
just
something
blessed.
while we're live to MJ too. I want to thank you because although we've just recently met,
Yeah.
you and I stare at you at a TV screen during the Ride for Recovery meeting, and but you've affected a lot of women that are my friends. They talk about you and you've helped them out. So you're like you've helped a lot of people. And ladies that have been helping me, you've been helping them for years. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
I say it with my lid.
Anyways,
In the corner, we got Dottie's kid.
okay, we're gonna. Oh my God! All right, so we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna. All right, hey everybody, we've had a great show, and I love all of you. You are worth it. You are enough, and please check us out next week. Thank you very much.
Amen, amen, amen.
Bye, guys.
Cut it.
Bye bye.
Dottie, keep up the good job.